Welcome to the Driving the World podcast series. I'm your host, Culley Holland. Today we are coming to you from the AGMA Motion and Power Expo, and we have Lori Brown with IMT Forge. Hey Lori, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Doing wonderful. I'm so happy you joined me here at the AGMA Motion and Power Expo to be on our podcast. So tell me a little bit about IMT and yourself, kind of where you guys are in the industry.
Okay, well, IMT, like I make things, that's not really the official title, but they started over 100 years ago with Ingersoll Machine and Tool up in Canada. They have several divisions, stand-ins out in Western Canada, and then they have a defense business unit with precision machining, and then we have a forge group, and that entails Clifford Jacobs in Champaign, Illinois, where I'm located, my sister shop PC Forge in Port Colborne, Ontario, and then we have supporting Ingersoll Machining. We also have H&S Heat Treat and Niagara Metal Treating. And we all work together to meet the needs of a very diverse customer base. So right now, when we get an inquiry in, we look at it, see where the best fit is within our organization. But primarily my role is working on forging. So we heat it, we beat it, and get a preform to the customer. We're kind of considered a raw material supplier. So we get the input steel from a steel mill like Timken Steel, SDI, Nucor, Carpenter, Universal, and we'll cut that up, heat it up about 2200 degrees, and we knock the crap out of it and come up with a preform that we'll send out to customers. We have a lot of gear shops that we take care of in a variety of industries. So everything from aerospace to forestry to suspensions and vast off-highway mining is really huge. So there's a lot of forgers out there, probably 400 in all of North America, but we're all kind of niche. So within IMT we do closed die, so it's more near net. My sister shop focuses more on smaller parts up to about 150 pounds, a little bit higher volume. They're more competitive. They have presses, upsetters, and hammers. And we have hammers at Clifford Jacobs. For the industrial market, we're going to specialize in 1 to 500 pounds, but we can go a little bigger, although there's some other forgers out in the marketplace that have even bigger equipment. We also do smaller parts, but it's really tends to be more competitive working with the press shop for those smaller parts, higher volume. So our smaller hammers are really working with more aerospace and 300M, Pyroware, Inconel, those type of materials. So a lot of diversity with our shop and our customer base, but I really enjoy it because, you know, we're not doing the same thing every day.
Gotta have a little bit of variety in your life,
exactly.
right?
So we never get bored at our location in Champaign, Illinois, Clifford Jacobs. So I want to make sure too, a lot of people think we're in Chicago. We are 2 hours south in the middle of a cornfield.
Perfect, best place to be.
That's right, that's right. As we're in a college town, so University of Illinois. And we have a big football game against Wisconsin this weekend. So we like to invite our customers and suppliers to come tailgate with us and network, and that's a lot of fun. But we've been there since 1919. That location.
That is quite the
Not
journey.
me, not me. I'm not that old, but
of course not.
I am kind of old.
No, not at all. But it sounds like you guys definitely have a presence in the industry.
Yes.
If it comes to metal or forging, you guys are going to be able to handle it
Yeah.
and put out quality products to
Yes.
the entire industry base. You mentioned timber and mining. Those are two industries that SEW definitely plays a big role in as well. So it's very good for our customers and your customers alike to know where to reach out and who to reach out to for different things, because SEW, of course, is not a forge, so we're not going to be able to supply that.
Right.
And that's why we have other folks in the industry that are going to help, you know, bring the whole solution together. So with all of that, I mean, it sounds like you guys got it down and you definitely have your customers that you're ready for, but where is forging kind of moving towards or going in the future?
Well, I think Forgings are typically used in really intense environments, so like high pressure, that's why we see, I mean, pretty much all transmissions use forgings because they're going to have a longer life, and they're going to, I mean, if you think about, well, some drivers out there, I won't mention any names, how they treat their cars. We need those really, because of the grain structure. When we heat up material, it gets up to 2200 degrees, and so it's kind of like working with Play-Doh, where their casting is more, they're pouring it into a mold. So that's where you see your gearboxes are castings,
Right.
because very little machining on a casting, if any at all, but that process is really subject to porosity, and that would lead to failures in a transmission, for example, where forgings, it's very rare that you would have a failure from a forging. Very few quality issues. I mean, once you guys get it at your shop, you're just going to cut those gear teeth and have that pretty gear that you can put in that gearbox and move on down the road. But I think we'll always need forgings. Some of the forgings required it's going to be really hard to ever, I feel like, 3D print those because some of them are so big, especially on the larger side. I think that I've seen a lot of things at FabTech last month, powder metal and shooting it and making, aluminum gears and things like that. I don't know, that technology I'm sure will come. But I think we'll always need forgings. We'll always need those tough guys working in that, I call it the depths of hell.
Oh, yeah.
And bless their hearts for doing it, too.
At the temperatures you were talking about, yes, I can believe it.
Yes, and in the wintertime, it's like the front side is burning hot and the back side, they're freezing their butts off, literally. So I have to say, we can never appreciate our guys that work in the Ford shop enough. I just think they are the breath of everything we do, and whether they're in Champaign, Illinois, or Cleveland, or Milwaukee, my hat's off to all forgers out there in the world.
Of course,
but
I think we're always going to need them.
We're always going to need them.
Forgers.
That's right. That's right. But I think materials, we're seeing new materials come out in the aerospace market, and I think we'll continue to see some neat things come with that. But I have a concern with the few mills that are available, whether it be specialty metals or our common carbons and alloys. We only have a handful of mills out there, so it's a little scary when we have limited resources and things ramp up. And then I think having the younger people come into the sourcing and procurement, I think it's great that you're educating your customer base by doing these podcasts, but we'd like to see them come out to these shows. And I think people are so busy that it's very difficult to let their folks out of the office to come and see what's out there. Because we learn a lot at this show, just like we were talking earlier, that networking with other gear shops, or there's developers of raw material heat treaters, testing houses, people that build machines, and we just learn so much from those guys at this kind of show.
It's a great opportunity.
Yes.
And if they're not fortunate enough to get out to a show, how can they reach out to IMT to get more information, learn, or get involved?
They could just go to imtforge.com, and then that has our contact information. And I like to tell people, I'm downtown Lori Brown, I'm based out of Champaign, Illinois. I'm very approachable. I don't have any little kids. All I have is a dog and a grandcat that bites me. So I like to say I'm going to be your BFF, your best forging friend. So if you have any questions about raw material or forgings, even if it's not something I can help you with, I can point you in the right direction, because we're a pretty close group, and if it's something unique that we can't take care of, we'll certainly refer you to one of our friends in the forging industry or raw material as far as that goes. So feel free to reach out to us anytime.
So it's the website, or you heard, it's downtown Lori Brown, and she's going to get all the information you need. So
that's right.
Thank you so much for being on the podcast today. I really appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great day.
You too.